Hello and welcome to presentation of Just Broadcast Pro Plus Playout. Just Broadcast Pro Plus is upgrade to Just Broadcast Professional Playout. It has all the features of Professional Playout, but is also packed with new features. In first part of this video, we will show you what are the new features in Pro Plus, and after that you can see all common features of JB Playouts in JB Professional presentation. Or you can first watch JB Professional presentation and then this first part of the video. So, most important thing is that in this new version of Playout, we split Playout to two different applications. And now we have Playout application, which only does encoding and decoding, and remote control application, which controls Playout. Then we have scheduler application where we can create playlist in days in advance and push them to Playout. Then CG editor, and finally multi-view application. As you can see, Just Broadcast Pro Plus has two different outputs comparing to Just Broadcast Professional, which has only one. These outputs can have different video and audio format than our Playout audio video format is, which means you can set one output to be Full HD and other outputs to be PAL. We can control the same way outputs. If we click on running, we can see encoding process for both outputs. We can stop output. We can set volume for each output. And also we can fine-tune streaming output from this window. If we go to settings tab, we have settings for output 1 and output 2. Selection of output is the same as for Just Broadcast Professional, and you can select video and audio format for each of these two outputs. Next thing is matrix control. You can use Playout to send signal to Blackmagic or any other matrix. You set all those settings here in remote control. If you go to remote settings, we have a tab for matrix, and then you can select what kind of matrix you have with the RS-232 connection or through the network, which is Blackmagic matrix. Then here you can create your matrix command, switch from one input to other output, and you can start matrix command in two ways. First, you can add matrix command as a playlist command in a playlist, like this, and this is the moment when Playout will send command to the matrix. Or you can use it manually if you create hotkey with a matrix command, and then whenever you need it, just click and Playout will send matrix command. Next important thing is in channel tab. As you know, for the background we can set color bar, color, image, video file, but also we can set emergency playlist. So if some situation happens when our main playlist stops running, for example, your local network is down, or there is some problem with hard drive or anything, you can copy some files on a local hard drive where Playout is, and then create this emergency playlist from these files. So this playlist will run whenever Playout stops. Even if you manually click stop, then this playlist will run in the back until you again start your main playlist. Then we go to scheduler, and we have option to push daily list. In Just Broadcast Professional, we have option to push list only for exact date and time, but in Pro Plus you can push playlist for each day of the week. Procedure is the same. You can create playlists and then you can make playlists to be fixed to start at exact time or to be unfixed, which will just append to current playlist. When you're done with your playlist, we'll set fixed playlist. You can click push daily recurrence list, and then you can select on which day you want this playlist to load and run. For example, we want each Monday, each Wednesday, and each Friday. Click OK. It's pushed. You can see it in playlist window, but also if you go to remote and daily list, you can also see it here. So this playlist will load every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday at 5 a.m. Now we go to blocks. We have there also one new option, which is called Block Scheduler. You can schedule any of the blocks to load and run at exact time each day of the week. So we'll take this new block and click on this button to create schedule. So you set your start time and you set in which day you want this block to run. So every Monday, every Tuesday, and every Wednesday, this block will load at 12. What this block will do? If some file is already playing in the moment when block is scheduled, it will split the file in the loading moment, load all files from block. When all files are played, it will just continue with currently playing file right in the moment when the block cut it. There is also second option how to use block scheduler. If we use this option, wait for on-air item to finish, in that situation, block will load after the currently playing item. Also, there are some rules for the blocks. As you can see, we created block and now it's in schedule list. There are some rules for the blocks. For example, you can set block not to start in first 30 seconds of the file or first 1 minute or last few minutes. It's option you can set in the playout. As for block, we have same things for CG. You can schedule some CG to start at exact time and also on each day of the week. For this, we use manual graphics templates. So we just click on some template and click on schedule CG. Then it asks us for start time. This is time when CG will start. And also for the duration. We can set duration for how long we want this CG to be on air. If we set 0, it won't have duration and it will be there until you manually remove it. And then we can select on which day we want to show this CG. We click add and we can see it in schedule. Of course, there are some rules there also when this CG cannot start in the first minute, in the last minute, but also since, as we know, CG depends on file category, which means if this CG is set to start at 8 o'clock and in 8 o'clock we have some commercials running in that moment, which means CG cannot be seen on commercials, then we can postpone time of the CG and CG will show on the next program, movie, TV show or music item. Then we have one more option for CG. As you know, in Just Broadcast Professional, CG can be set on each file or CG can be set for global, for in all the files in the system. Now we have Third option, we can set CG for each category. So if we, for example, for the program, for example, we can set different logo and different again for music. So every time we run program file, it will show one logo. When we run music file, it will show other logo. And for all other files, it will show default logo you set. Also, priority is highest on the files. So whatever CG you set on the file, Playout will search there first. Then it will search for the category. And finally, the lowest priority is global CG. So if you set some category, some logo on the file, it will show on the file. But for example, if you set at the same time on the category and on the file, and of course global logo, it will show on the file. Then we have in weather CG one update. Besides showing weather data for single city, we can show weather data for multiple cities. We can show up to 10 cities, and we can change those cities every n seconds. It's up to you to decide. Then we have option in CG for picture-in-picture. This is a simple version of picture-in-picture. Much better is in Just Broadcast Ultimate. We drag and drop picture-in-picture icon to the scene. We set our picture-in-picture window. We can use to remain in selected aspect ratio. And then we have a properties. Each time you want to show picture-in-picture, you can set with squeeze in and squeeze out animation. Also, you have option to auto hide, which means to automatically return to full screen. So it's set to 5 seconds, and if you click show, this is how it will go to L-shape mode, and this is how it will return from L-shape mode. We can load one, this is one template with the picture-in-picture. As you can see, it has image in the back, some slideshow, and picture-in-picture window. Now we can start this CG. It's a menu layer, and it's this one. If we start it, here it is. It will be there for 10 seconds, and it will return to full screen. But maybe the most important thing is playlist automation, or let's better say automatic playlist items, which are called file slots, block slots, and time slots. In Just Broadcast Pro Plus, we can normally drag drop files to playlist, but also we can drag drop folder to playlist. When we drag drop folder to playlist, we will add some files from this folder. If we go to folder properties, we can select how many files we want to add when we do drag drop and how we want to sort files. System can get files from ABC order, or it can get random files, or season by season or episode. So we set 3 files in a random order, and now if we add folder to playlist, you will see it added 3 files. Once more, 3 files. What's important here is that Playout won't get same files until all files from this folder are played. So it can give you one good option if you are adding some TV show each day. and then you don't want to remember which one is coming next, then you can use this option to select add one item in order, and every time you drag drop folder to playlist, it will insert in playlist next TV show, next episode, next episode, next episode. Also, if you don't want to see these 3 items in the playlist, you can use option which is called file slot. We set this folder to add as file slot, and then when we drag drop this folder, it will add only one line, and you can see it's file slot, folder media large, 3 items. This line will automatically be replaced with 3 items from media large folder 10-15 seconds before it is scheduled to start. Just to show you, we will manually fill this file slot. We have option here, fill time slot. Layout now calculates files, and as you can see, it replaces file slot with 3 files. File slots doesn't have exact duration, since in the folder you can have files with different duration, but there is option to calculate average file duration, which will generally help you when you're creating playlists. So whenever you add file slot to playlist, you will have average duration time. Of course, this is not the right time, but generally it will help you to create playlists. We also have option which is called block slot. As you know, if we insert some block to playlist, it will insert files from the block, and this is a label which mark start and end of the block. But if we don't want to see files, we can use option insert block as block slots. In this situation, when we drag drop block to playlist, same as file slot, we can see only one line, and that line will be replaced with real files from the block 10-15 seconds before its schedule starts. Now you will ask yourself, why should I add this block slot when I can just drag drop block to playlist and have real files? Well, if you're making playlist for days in advance, and every morning you change files in your block, then you can just add this block slot to playlist, and every time playlist loads and then block slot loads for some other day in advance, and you change files in blocks, in that moment block slot will always get the latest files from the block. And we'll show you how Playout replace it. Fill time slot, and it replaced block slot with the files from the block. And now maybe the most interesting feature is automatic time slot. Difference between file slot and time slot is that for file slot you pick how many files you want to add, but for time slot you select time which you want to fill with files. So we don't know if system will add 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 files. Its job is just to fill the time you set. We have 2 different time slots, time slot folders and time slot folder list. For time slot folders, we select from which folder we want to get files, and then Playout will get all the files from those folders, mix them, and add them to playlist by filling this 1 hour of time. You can select to have files by order or random files, which we're going to select. Also, in 99.9 situations, time slot cannot be filled exactly, because we cannot fill exactly 1 hour. Every time, few seconds or maybe even 1 minute, will remain since we won't have file of that duration to fill time slot. So we can select what we want to do with the remaining time. We can skip remaining time, so we won't have 1 hour, 2 hour, or how long you set duration of time slot. Or we can just add one more file, and in that situation we'll have more than 1 hour, but it's up to you to decide how you want to use time slot. Then we have time slot folder list, and it's working differently. Just to see if we have one ready. This one is good. Okay, so again, we want to fill 1 hour, but the main difference is that now we can select from which folder we want to add and how many files. So in this situation, we have a music folder, and we will add 5 files from music folder. Then we'll add 1 file from media folder. Then again, 3 files from music folder, and finally 1 file from 2997 folder. If there is not 1 hour of file, system will again go from beginning and again start adding music, media, until it fills 1 hour. As you can see here, average duration of this folder is 47 minutes. So in any case, when it fills this structure, it will go again back to music and start filling again until it reaches 1 hour. We can also change number of files we want to add for each folder, and it will of course change duration. We can add of course more folders. For example, let's add 1 more media and 2 items, and then again we calculate relative duration. And we have all the same options as for folder time slot. We can skip remaining time or add 1 more time. What's important thing here is that we can select for each folder how we want to sort files. So for example, for this music folder we can use random, but for this music folder we want order. So different for each folder, and then we click OK, and that's it. Now to add time slot to playlist, we use this automatic time slot. We have a list of all time slots, and we just drag drop it to playlist. Again, same as for file slot and block slot, 10-50 seconds before its scheduled time, it will replace this time slot line with real files with the structure we created for this time slot. So if we click fill time slot, as you can see, it replaced exactly how we set our structure. 3 music, 1 media, 3 music, 1 from 2997, then 2 media, and that's the end of our structure. Since it's not 1 hour, we can see it's 26 minutes. Then it starts from beginning, and again 3 from music, 1 from media, 3 from music, 1 from 2997, and 2 from media, which will give us 58 minutes 23 seconds. So it didn't have any more files to add because next file would be music, and we don't have a music file which is less than 2 minutes, and then it couldn't reach whole hour. Same thing is for time slot folder. It will also just grab a file and replace them. So why this thing is good? You can create automatic playlist in scheduler. We'll just show you how it looks with a time slot. For example, we want 1 time slot, let's say, to start it, and then we can just create 24-hour playlist only with the time slots, and that's all. Of course, in this situation we are using only 1 time slot, but you can create multiple time slots and mix them. And now how it works. It will fill files from 5 to 6. Of course, it doesn't have enough file to fix exactly 1 hour. So you will have a gap between 2 time slots. And then filler list can jump in to fill it, or emergency playlist can fill those 1 minute and less and more. This is very good, for example, if you have some TV shows, cartoons, anything, and you're starting them in every hour block, and then you just push this playlist to play out. For example, for each day, daily recurrence list for each day, and playout will do all the things for you. And we show you all the new features Pro Plus has, compared to Professional, of course. Now you can continue to watch JB Professional presentation, so you can get to know all common features of Just Broadcast playouts. We will use Just Broadcast Professional, since it's our entry playout, to show you common playout features. Main application in Just Broadcast Professional system is this playout application. As you can see, it's very simple application, and its job is only to do encoding, decoding, and to show CG. In this window, we can see different playlist timers, playlist status, currently playing item, playlist preview with VU-meters, number of items in playlist, option to turn off or on video preview, audio, and to go to full screen. But most important things are on the right. In this tab, we can see our output. Just Broadcast Professional has only one output, and we set it to DVB Stream UDP. If you click on this running text, you can see encoding process and output statistics. You can start and stop output, change volume for output, and for streaming outputs, you can do some fine tunings here. This is a decoding process of our main playlist, and you can see, check if there is any error in decoding. We have the same thing for live if it's on air, and also for URL if it's on air, and this is statistic of some URL which was playing before. Finally, we have playout settings. We can select here video and audio format of our playout. We have a selection between NTSC, PAL, 720, and Full HD. We must mention that video quality, video format, and audio format of playout doesn't have to be the same as the video and audio format of output. Which means if you change video format for playout, don't forget to change it also on output. Then here we have audio settings, audio compressor and dynamic amplify, color settings, preview of audio, auto refresh files. Our playout registers all files in database. And here we have option to once a day search for new files on the hard drive and automatically register it in database. Of course, if some file is deleted, system will automatically delete it from database. And notification settings. We'll use this button scan for hardware changes every time we add some new hardware in our PC, or if we change any LAN settings. Then we have output settings. We have option between decklink output or Blackmagic cards, IP stream UDP, this is a variable UDP stream, RTMP, secure RTMP, DVB UDP, which is constant bitrate, SRT, which is variable, DVB SRT, which is constant bitrate, RTP stream, TSRTP, direct show, NDI, and HDMI output. For each output, we have different settings. What's important is that you can change your output anytime, changes will be on the fly. Then we have option to ping hard drive. There are some hard drives which will go to sleep even if you set in Windows not to go. And using this option, Playout will create one txt file and write some text in it every n minutes, which will prevent that disk to sleep. Then we have EPG. EPG is created by worldwide standards. Here you can see how XML in EPG looks like. We can select which metadata we want to show in EPG, and all these metadata which are written in English, you can write in your own language, or you can add language tag if it's needed. Every time you change something, you click Save Changes, and you will see changes in our XML. Playout will run EPG every n hours, and it can look for the playlist which are scheduled in advance for up to 1 month. And also there is option to upload XML EPG to some FTP server. Last option in Playout is caching settings. In most situations, files are run directly from NAS or from local hard drive. But in some situation, if some file is too big and it's slow to run through network, then you can select this option to copy this file automatically to the local hard drive and run it from there. Of course, you can just select some files to cache, or you can cache all the files. Also, system has option to monitor for hard drive, and if it's full, it will start deleting files. And that's basically everything about Playout application. You can leave this window running, but the best thing is to just minimize it, and it will be minimized in system tray. Remote control is controlling our Playout. This application doesn't have to be turned on all the time. You can turn it off and Playout will continue with your playlist. Playout is safely minimized in system tray. This is the main window. In the upper part you can see different counters, playlist status, CG status, currently playing item, buttons to play next, play selected, pause and stop. On the left is a preview window where you can drag drop any file live or URL or even CG. On the right is playlist preview window with Woometer and the master volume control. In the middle is our main playlist. On the left we can see playlist commands, hotkeys and playout and remote settings. And on the right is Media Asset Manager. Playout has option to register all files, lives, URLs, everything in the database, which means you register files once, change their properties, and every time you add file to the playlist, it will get all those properties you set. Main feature is automatic file registration system. We can click on add folder and add one new folder with the files. And system recognize we have one folder, and now we must categorize that folder. That's the main feature of Just Broadcast Playout. Each folder and each file must be categorized. When you click this button category, you can see some categories we created, but also you can create your own categories. For example, if you click on program category, we can see that program category can show logo, can show graphics, show weather, but it cannot show music title. Also, it will be visible in EPG or any playlist export. If we click on the music, we'll see that it will also show logo, graphics, but it won't show subtitle, now next, but it will show music title. And if we click commercial break, intro, promo, or filler, we'll see that it cannot show any of the CG. Since graphics in Playout is automatic, it means when program file is playing, it can show logo, but as soon as we play commercial file, logo and all other CG will disappear. Again, if next program file is playing, all CG will return on air. So since this is commercial folder, we'll categorize it as commercial. We click on the commercial in grid on the right and click on the folder. You will see it change color. And we click confirm changes. Folders are created. Now we're going to auto register file. And our files are ready. We can create new folder in this folder and add some more files. And we can do it with every folder we have. And now, whenever you need, whenever you add files, whatever you do, you can just click this button, check for changes. System found new folder, and again, it asks us to categorize it. We'll again set commercials. And now Playout will register files from that folder, but also will search all other folders if there is some new file or if any file is missing. And it will be, new files will be automatically registered and missing files will be deleted. So as you can see, test folder is here. Now we can delete one file from test folder. And again, click this button will just check commercial folder, not all folders. And we have a warning that one file is not on the path. Do you want to delete it? Yes. And as you can see in test folder, there is no more file. Also, we can delete entire test folder. And again, click this button to check. And the system found that there is no folder on the path. Do you want to delete? Yes. And then both folder and files will be deleted. As we said, you can set properties for each file. If you double click any file, this is a property window. You can preview file. Also, you can set in and out. On the right, we have file information, then file data, extended data, with the option to get download data from International Movie Database website. We can change video and audio for each file, scale, aspect ratio, interlace, change default audio tracks, crop, rotate, mirror, set transition for this file. You can set global transition and also you can set transition only for some file. Same thing for CG. You can set global graphics, so one global logo for channel, one global music title for channel, but also you can set graphics for each file, which means if you set one global logo and it's on air now, but only for this file, you want to change logo or you don't want to show logo on this file, only on this file, then you click do not show logo. And once this file is ready to play, logo will disappear. Right after it, logo will show again. Same thing if you select some other logo, it will change logo for this file, and when it goes to next file, it will again play default logo. Settings for now, next in promo. We can create breaks. If we want to add commercials in our file, we can break it in some point. We'll show you that in another video. We can also create cuts, some small file segments from the file. And also we have a as run log. You can see when this file was playing and for how long. To add file to playlist, we use drag drop operation. So select file and drag it to playlist. You can select multiple files and drag them to playlist. Or you can use buttons insert or append file to playlist. Also, beside that big window we enter on double click, we have a small window here for each file. So you can have a preview here, set in and out, and all the same data we saw in big window. Now how to add those breaks we created. We click this button here, and instead to add a single file with drag and drop, it will add 4 parts since we created 3 breaks, and then you can put commercials or block or anything between them. Same procedure is to add cuts. Just we click this button, insert file cuts, and again when we drag drop file, you can see it add cut of 3 minutes and 56 seconds. If you have multiple cuts, it will also add them here. And also here you can enter category window and set everything what you need for each category or create a new one. Beside this folder of real folder from the hard drive, we can also create virtual folder. Let me just delete this one. It's a structure in memory of the playout, so it won't move any files on the hard drive. So we just create a new subfolder, and we can now add files in this folder. For example, this. Right click, add to virtual, and here are the files. Of course, you can create any subfolder structure, and then you can use this to add some favorite files, some music files, or some blocks, whatever you need. Next thing we have are lives. We can use Decklink live inputs and also NDI. We have this NDI input ready. We can double click it. We can have a preview here. Also, we have live data, and one most important thing for the live. We can set duration of each live, but also there is option called manual next. When this option is on, live doesn't have duration, which means even if it extends 1 hour, it will continue until you manually click go to next item. All other properties are the same as for files. There is also a small window with all the properties, and you can create new live. So basically, if you have one Blackmagic input, but you have multiple show in different time on that Blackmagic, then our advice is to create multiple lives for each show, since each show will have different name, different data for now next, maybe different CG, and so on. To add live to playlist, again, just drag drop, and that's it. And this icon shows that manual next is on. For URLs, we can register any UDP, RTMP, SRT, HLS, whatever stream. Also, we can use YouTube Live, and also we can register some non-protected YouTube links. Procedure is the same as for URL and files. We can double click URL. Again, we have preview window. Again, same as for live, we have fixed duration, but also manual next option, which will extend URL until you press go to next item. All other settings are the same as for file and URL. We also have small window with all the properties. We can add new live, enter URL, name, set buffers. And we have a YouTube search window where you can get those files which are not protected. And then you can register this file to database and you use it in playout. Again, to start to add URL to playlist, just drag drop, click play next. There is a small delay for URL to buffer, and it will show on air. Then we can create blocks. We click on the new block. We call it block 1. We can set to be programmed commercial, but it's just for your reference. Doesn't have any impact on the system. Then we can add files to this block. We can use file list to edit, or we can edit directly from playlist. So we select files, right click, add to block, select in which block we want to add, okay. And as you can see, we have file added in block. We can move files up and down to change order in block, or we can use the mouse to drag drop. We can load, save, copy paste, delete items from the block, delete all instance of the item. But also we can fix position of each file in block. For example, we'll fix position of this file here and 2, 3, 4, 5th here. So this, if you use a random option, this file will always be on the first place, this file will always be on the 5th place, all other files will randomize. So we can just drag drop block to playlist, as you can see. We have the same order as we have here. But if we use a random option and again drag drop, you will see that this item is on the first place, then others are randomized, and this one is on the 5th place, and again all others are randomized. We have a CG control. In this window you can see what CG is on air. We have 8 different layers, and all of the layers are automatic layers, which means they will show depending on the settings we set for each file category or for each file. But also we have a manual CG layer, and you can start this layer if you double click any CG here in the list, or you can add manual CG start command directly to the playlist to start it at the moment you need the CG. Good thing about manual layer is that there is no limit how many templates you can show at the same time on the screen. So let's double click some templates. As you can see, they're all in the air, so we can double click again, same layer, it will disappear. Or if we want to remove all templates from this layer, just click clear our graphics and all manual layers are gone. Also, we can drag drop any of this CG to the playlist, and we have manual graphic command. Also, we can put multiple commands at the same time, which means these two graphics will show at the beginning of this file. Since this is manual CG, you have to manually remove it, of course. So we use this manual CG end command, and we put it in the place where we want to hide this CG. So we can select to clear only one of these CG, or we can clear all the CG in manual layer. So CG will show on this file. These are commercial, it won't show anything. It will return again on this file, but after that it will permanently removed. Now we have also those auto layers, which is again graphics, music title, parental advisory, play now next, program title, promote, and weather. So you cannot manually start those CGs from here, but you can select all this CG for each file or global for all the files in the playout. And finally, we have a logo. Again, same story. You can select logo for each file. You can select one global logo. And in this window, you can change global logo, or only for this currently playing item, you can hide logo or show logo again, or even change it only for this item like this. As soon as this file finish, it will return to default logo, which you can see. It returned to default logo. Then we have lists. These are the lists which are pushed from the scheduler application, and they are scheduled to start at some exact time and day. We'll show it with a scheduler. And also we have a filler list. We can use this list to fill any positive gap we set in the playout, or if some file is missing, there is no file on hard drive, and then you have some empty space between two files, then this filler list will automatically jump in and fill that space with the files. You can set one global filler list, but also you can set filler list for each file, live or URL. And finally, as run log, playout logs all the file which played, and then by clicking this button here, you can see everything and you can create reports with all the files which played. You have option to export to Excel, PDF or XML. It's recommended to delete as run from time to time. And also you can search by name, by category, by date, by notes, with different criteria for searching. Also you can create custom report where you can select which columns or which properties you want to show in export, and it will be exported to Excel. Then on the left, we have playlist commands. As we showed you, you can just drag drop any of these commands to playlist. For example, this is a placeholder. And also you can create your own playlist commands. Then we have a hotkeys. These are basically the shortcuts you create for something, things you always do. So for example, we have one show CG button. We just click it and CG shows. Or for example, we can hide logo, show weather data. So basically shortcuts which you can create, and you have 22 shortcuts or hotkeys to create. Finally, in the middle is our main playlist. Playout has two working modes. In one mode, which we called line stays, all items which played will stay in playlist for up to 24 hours. After that, they will be removed. Other mode is lines disappear mode, where each line, when it's played, it will disappear from the playlist. So this is line stays mode. As you can see, we have lines which already played, and if we switch here, we switch to line disappear mode, and as you can see, you can only see what's coming next and nothing else. In the playlist on the right, we have option to insert playlist, append, open, save, randomize selected items, move the top, move up, move down, delete selected, delete all, delete instance, cut, copy, paste, and loop. We showed you how to add files to playlist. Just do drag and drop. If you want to move files in playlist, you can do in three ways. You can use mouse to drag drop items in playlist, or you can use buttons to move up or down, or if you click this button, you can use arrows on the keyboard to move items. You can double click each item in a playlist, and you can set its properties. What's important to tell you here is that by default, every file will get all the data from the database. So if you add file to playlist and in the meantime you change something, some value in the database, when this file is scheduled to play, it will get data from the database, all new data. But you can also change properties only for this instance of the file. If you click, if you can see, all properties are disabled. You cannot change anything because this file will get properties from database. But if you want to change something only for this instance of the file, you can click this button here, and then you can change whatever you need. For example, set a different CG only for this instance of the file. And in that situation, it won't get new data from database, it will use data you set in here. Also, there is option for fixed time in the playlist. For example, we want this file to start at 7 o'clock straight. So we write our time and then we click on fixed time update. So this file will start at 7 o'clock no matter what. You can see this red line. It means that this line will play but will not play till the end, since it will be cut by the fixed item. If you change time to 6 o'clock, you will see more item which won't be played. This is called negative gap. There are situations when you don't want to cut the last files, and this thing usually works in the situation when there is a fixed item and before it has some positive gap, and then filler list fills with small files, and there is no need to cut small file. Then you can use this option wait to finish. Then this option will wait for this file to finish and then run, notice this file to finish and then run this fixed item. So basically this will run, this file will be deleted, this will be deleted, but this file will wait for this file to finish and then continue. Also, there is a positive gap. If we set our timings to 8 o'clock, you can see the blue line now, which tells you that before this file, there is a positive gap of 34 minutes. So there is nothing in that time. In this situation, we don't have to add anything. We can just use our filler list, which is going to fill this time of 34 seconds. Also, you can do right click on playlist items and you have many options here. Besides that double click, you can also click on show properties button and you have all the same properties you had in big window. And also there is option to check all the files in playlist, and the system will check if some file is missing or on hard drive or some file is missing in database, and it will warn you. And the last thing here are the settings, playout settings, settings for the graphics where you can turn off some of the graphic layer if you don't want to use them, and output status. And we go fast through remote settings. You can change playlist look. This is a default look, but you can, for example, change colors of the row or use back color, or change playlist size to medium or large, or even you can show images. So many ways to customize our playlist. Then in playout options, one important feature is this manual next time for URL and live. When you use manual next option, we can select for how long we want to extend our live or URL. We have some safety feature for the playouts. Channel settings. Important feature is this background, where you can select color bar, color, image, or video file. This video file is important since when something happens in playout, if there is no, if LAN is down, there is system cannot get files, then you can put one file on local hard drive, and if playlist stops, this file will play until your main playlist starts again. Also, important option is what will happen if file is missing on hard drive. So there are two options to select. Skip timing, which means if file is missing, playout will jump to next file in playlist, or keep timing, where playout will automatically create a gap, and that gap can be filled with fill list. Then selection of live inputs, selection of global graphics. some CG settings, global transition, subtitle options, emergency email options, services, HTML and text export, again file category window, item colors, which means you can change the color of each item in playlist or text color, DTMF receiver and sender options, and finally weather data. You can show weather for one city. And that's all for the remote control. We'll deal with each part of remote control in separate video. Scheduler application is the application where you create your playlists and push them to play out to start at the time you set. Our customers mostly create 24 hours playlist. All the options are the same as in playout. You also have playlist commands on the left, main playlist in the middle, and media manager on the right. With again file lives, URLs, so everything is the same as in the playout, so we won't deal with it. We'll deal only with the playlist creation. So basically you can create your playlist in this window. Only difference or new options are Undo and Redo options. So you can create playlist for 1 day in advance or next 10 days in advance. We had the customers who created playlists for 1 month in advance. So procedure is the same. Drag drop files to playlist, create your playlist. And then we have two types of playlists. Playlists can be fixed and unfixed. Fixed playlist will start at exact time, which means it will load, delete everything what's in current playout playlist and start at exact time you set. Unfixed playlist will load at the time you set, but it won't delete anything. It will just append at the end of the current list in playout. Again, most of the customers use fixed playlist. To create fixed playlist, you must make first item in playlist fixed. So double click on the first item, set the time when you want to start your playlist. For example, we want to switch in 5 in the morning. And then we just set fixed time, and that's all. Once we prepared our playlist, we can use this button, push to playout. When we click it, we get information that playlist is pushed to playout. If we go to lists, we'll see that this list is scheduled to run on Friday at 5 a.m. If we again go to remote control and also click on the lists, we can see that our list is ready to start. Now we'll create one small playlist and we'll push it in this time so you can see how it works. We'll just add a few commercials files, nothing too big like this. And we'll start it at 10:40:00. We'll again make first item fixed and we'll push it to playout. As you can see, this playlist will start very soon. We'll go to remote settings just to change look of the playlist, and also to show you in playout safety, you can set the time when you want push list to load. It is set 20 seconds before the scheduled time to load. So we'll wait for 40 more seconds. So as you can see, this playlist, whole playlist, will be removed, and this new playlist will start to play at exact time when we set. Also, there is option to use wait to finish, so you don't cut the playlist. But remember, in that situation, timings won't be accurate 100%. And 5 more seconds. And this is it. So our playlist is loaded. It will start at 10:40, and you can see all these files are red, which means all these files will be deleted from the playlist. And also currently playing item will be cut right now. And that's how push lists work. So you can push list to this exact date you set, but also you can push one same playlist to multiple dates or for multiple months or however you want. You will use CG Editor to create graphics for the playout. Playout has 8 different layers, which are graphics, which can be manual or automatic, logo, music title, now next, promo, parental advisory, program title, and weather. All these layers are automatic. Only graphics can be automatic or manual, and it is used for all the common things you need for the graphics. We use these elements up here to add them to scene to create graphics. We have simple text, then we have link text. This is a text which is linked to some TXT file on the hard drive, and every time you write new text and save in TXT file, it will change text in RCG. Then different times, simple graphics object, image sequence, crawling ticker, rolling ticker, video, of course without audio, and slideshow. You can see all elements in this window on the right, and there you can delete some elements, change order, or create groups. On the right, we have properties for each element, and we can change the size of each element. We can move them with the mouse on the scene. All these things you can fine-tune here in properties. Then we have different effects like shadow, blur, glow. Then we can change color. For example, we can change shape of this graphic element. Then we can animate each element to show and hide in the CG template. And we have some alignment option. On the left, we have a list of our templates. If we double click any template, it will be loaded. For example, here is a slideshow template. This is a slideshow. Then some hashtag, for example, next on TV, ticker. Then we can go to music title and load some music title. Music title has special field title and artist. These two fields in the playout, when this CG is on, will be automatically replaced with real artist name and real song name. Since these elements are animated, you can click on the preview button and you will see animation. We use here image sequence, and these TXT file are animated here in a playout. And same thing for now next. This is animation for now next. It will disappear. We have automatic weather data. And if we click this button here, we can find the city and then test our weather data. And also here we can save as new scene or create blank scene and then add elements. We have option to show playout video as a background, so you can check if the position of the CG is good or not. And also you can change the view of the graphic lists to show images. More about CG Editor in another video. Multi-view application is application where you can preview video and audio from the play out, but you can create some more nice things. For each of these 6 elements, we can do right click, and then we can add live, add URL, add CG, add time, or add CPU. If you click add live, then we can have live preview window. We'll start our NDI. And as you can see, we can monitor live, even if it's not in play out. And then we can just push it to play out when the times come. Same thing for URL. We can add URL, and then we can add one of URLs. And also we can watch it here, and if it's needed, we can just send it to play out. Beside that, we can add all the manual CG. We can add time, and we can add CPU consumption. So here in CG, we can just double click any CG, and it will automatically show in playout. As for the live and URL, we can just click send on air. Then system asks us what we're going to do with this file which is currently running. We have option to replace current item and play next item, or we can play new item and continue current item, which means if we click this one, wait for URL to start. Here it is, our URL is running right now, and if we take a look at the playlist, we can see that this file is splitted at the moment when URL start, and as soon as URL ends, file will continue right exactly where it stopped. The same thing is for live input. And finally, we have this monitoring application. This is the application which monitors for playout, and if playout is not active for 30 seconds, it will start it again. Also, it runs and starts with Windows, and it will start your playout when Windows starts. And that's all about JB Professional Playout.